Now I'm talking to you people who put him down. I think it's something else within you that's the problem. I think you might have a problem with jealousy and hate, is what I think. You should be happy for the guy. He went through some really big struggles. All right, thanks for stopping by. So this is going to be one of those videos where I didn't plan to make the video, but I got something on my mind, so let's talk about it. I'm glad you stopped by the way. So this is in defense of Bob Wells. I love Bob Wells. I think he's been a big help to a lot of people. But lately I've got comments on some of my videos that had nothing to do with Bob Wells, but they would put in something like, Bob Wells is just out for the money and he's ruining people's lives and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you even watching the same Bob Wells video that I'm watching? I have been a big fan of Bob Wells for 6 years, 6 years now. When I was researching the internet for a cheaper way to live, it wasn't van life. I had never heard of van life. And here I am living in a van. But I was searching YouTube for, a way out of it all and a way out of debt and all that stuff. And I came across the guru, Bob Wells. And I see this guy out in the desert living in his van. And I thought, well, this is fascinating. So I'll give him a listen. So I start clicking through his videos. I'm like, well, my goodness, this guy is the real deal. He's really doing this. And then I find out he's been doing it for years. So I'm like, well, this is the guy you probably want to listen to. So, back then I was thinking, well, there's no way I could live in a van. Maybe I could live in a travel trailer, or maybe I could live in a Class C RV or something like that. But after watching his videos and kind of understanding the whole mentality of it, the aspect of freedom and being debt free and minimalism, it all started to click for me. I was already a minimalist anyway. In my apartment, I had a chair and a TV and a cardboard box as a coffee table, so that's pretty minimal already. So I'm like, yeah, this guy's right up my alley. But back to some of the comments I've received on my videos throughout the years. I don't understand why people have a problem with Bob Wells. Now, it is a very small percentage of my comments that people, they're just putting Bob Wells down. And I do not agree with that whatsoever. Are we even watching the same Bob Wells videos? Because I don't even know what you're talking about. How could you not like Bob Wells? So I got to thinking, did he do something, that got people upset? No, I just think they're skipping through a lot of his videos and they're just watching the positive aspects of van life. He also shows you a lot of things that you're going to run into, like how hot you're going to be, how cold you're going to be, how to try to remedy that. He does a great job at, showing what you can expect. And he's part of an organization that helps people, acquire, like vans to live in and build out. And he even gave a van away. And I just don't understand how people could be against him. Let me explain to you how YouTube works. So Bob Wells makes a YouTube channel. He puts out content that people find fascinating. He goes viral. He's a success. That's how YouTube works. And you're going to put the guy down for being successful in helping people? Come on. I think it's something else. Now I'm talking to you people who put him down. I think it's something else within you that's the problem. I think you might have a problem with jealousy and hate, is what I think. You should be happy for the guy. He went through some really big struggles. I watched his video where he told his story of he was in Alaska and he was driving home from work and he passed an old box truck on the side of the road and he thought to himself, hey, I could live in that. He was struggling financially and he struggled financially for many, many years. Now, all of a sudden, in his golden years, he's had success and you're going to bash him for that? That's just wrong. Now, I understand that the vast majority of people like Bob Wells. He's an interesting character. It's kind of hard not to like him. I have a hard time understanding how people could not like him. I did see him one time in Quartzsite. He was giving a speech on a stage at, what do they call the RTR? It's much smaller now than it used to be, from my understanding. But he was at a baseball field and he was on a little stage and he was giving a speech on, how to build a bed or something in a camper van. I forget what it was. But, it was people, taking in what he had to say. But looking back at his older videos, he's got a lot of knowledge. And he didn't charge for any of it. There were some other people on YouTube about the same time Bob Wells came to fame that was doing something similar that he was doing, but they wouldn't really show you how to hook up the solar. They would say, call me and hire me and I will fill you in on the rest, And Bob Wells never did that. He would just make a video. He'd set the camera up. He'd show him, drilling the solar panels into the roof of the van and all that stuff. So, I don't know why I felt the need to come to his defense, but I don't know. He's just such a likable guy, and I think he's got a good heart, and I think he's an all-around genuine person, and I just felt like, I had to say something about it on his behalf, even though he don't need me to come to his defense. I mean, he's got thousands of fans, and I say fans, but I mean that as friends, because I feel like I could be a friend with Bob Wells, no problem. I would love to hang out with him for a day and just, soak up his knowledge. I mean, he's been one of the few free people that I've known. Most people aren't truly free. We could go on a whole new subject about freedom. Freedom's not for everybody. And I know that sounds weird, but, a lot of people would rather have comfort over freedom. And I've heard Bob talk about this. He didn't say it as harshly as I just said it. And I didn't mean it, harsh. But think about it this way, you can have freedom or you can have comfort, but you really can't have both unless you're just really wealthy. I'll say it again. You can have freedom or you can have comfort, but most of the time you can't have both unless you're really, really wealthy. And I think Bob has done a great job helping people understand that, and he understands each individual has a different level of comfort. You don't want to be miserable all the time, but he helps people that are really in need. There's a lot of people doing van life by choice, and there's a lot of people doing van life by necessity. And you know exactly what I mean by that. Some people in bad situations financially, and this is what they do to, get by and survive, but they've also found a way to thrive. Wow, I feel like a rapper. you can get by and survive and you can thrive. but you know, it's good to see people going from just surviving to thriving. And you know, I credit Bob Wells with that. He's helped a lot of people. He really has. So, to you people who just have some kind of hatred for Bob, I don't know. You need to look within yourself. Something's going on with a jealousy issue or something like that. I'm not sure what it is, but all I can say is don't be a hater. You know, Bob's a good guy. Well, that's my rant for the evening. Thanks for watching. Take care, be well, and smash the bell.